Hi, I'm Mary Valamedes, and I'm going to share with you the kindergarten for 6 weeks mathematics curriculum preview. The kids are going to be reciting numbers to 80 this 6 weeks by ones beginning with any number. Here's what your scope and sequence looks like for the 6 weeks. Notice quite a few of the essays are going to go ahead and be repeated in the fifth 6 weeks. Big ideas this 6 weeks is to finish composing and decomposing numbers to 10, counting to 80, add through 9, and subtract within 5. So we're going to finish composing and decomposing numbers to 10. This is such an important skill because it's the beginning of adding and subtracting. So it's getting the kids to understand that you can put together numbers in many ways and take them apart in many ways. So here we have K.21, compose and decompose numbers up to 10 with objects and pictures to at least 10. But the kids only went up to 8 for the third 6 weeks, so this one will go through the entire text up to number 10. So here's a way of composing. The kids are joining numbers together and they're discovering multiple ways to compose a number. They're not actually using the words addition. They're just putting numbers together, and when they're decomposing, they're taking numbers apart, and they're seeing that relationship. Notice with decomposing, there's really two parts to it. They're developing an understanding of part-whole relationships, as they can see that 5 can be broken into smaller sets, but still remain the total amount. And then again, the second one is that it can be broken into multiple ways. So decomposing has two different parts to it. One manipulative that you can use to help you with this concept are your 2-color counters that are on those foam boards that you can use with the kids, and they can raise them up and show you the answers. So they can compose and decompose with 10 frames, showing that joining means composing, and separating would be decomposing. Here's an activity that the kids can do when they make all the combinations of 6 as possible, and then you can ask the kids the questions that are on this slide. Here's an activity that's available in Eduphoria that you can continue with having in a workstation for the kids to do. Then we'll start Unit 6, Addition and Subtraction through 5. These texts will continue when we also do addition and subtraction through 10. It's the same 3 texts. So notice we begin with conceptually modeling the action of joining and separating, and then solving word problems and finding sums and differences within 10. And then K.3c is when the kids are explaining the strategies that they use to solve the word problems. And this could be using spoken words, using concrete and pictorial models, and number sentences. Notice that all 3 of these are only to go up to 5 with this unit. So first, with modeling, use hand gestures. Show your hands going together to show joining. Have your hands going apart when they're subtracting. There's also the joining poster for adding, and the separating poster for subtracting that's in Eduphoria for you. Here's an example of the different types of problems. The result is unknown is when you say 2 plus 3 equals what? The change is unknown when you have 2 and you know the result is 5, but you don't know what it was that changed it. And then the start is unknown. We have 3. We started with something, and we have 3, and now we have 5. So what did we start with? The same thing is true for separating or decomposing. So when we're adding to 5, we can use the 5 frame to show all the combinations of adding to 5. Or we can use just part of the 10 frame, the half of the 10 frame, and make sure the kids fill the entire first row before they start on the second row. K.3b is about solving word problems using objects and drawings to find sums, and this time again it's only up to 5. So you could use story mats and have the kids play out different story scenarios with their story mats, or use a part-whole mat for addition. Notice the parts are at the top and the whole is at the bottom. or they can, in this case 3 plus 1, or they can turn it around and have the whole on the top with the parts in the bottom. So we could say 4 minus 3, and then they can solve. You can also use strip diagrams, which is a good introduction for kids to understand strip diagrams, because they'll see it a lot in their upper grade levels. Now, here's a possible misconception. When the kids see the sum before the equal sign and then the parts, they don't think that's the same as 3. For example, 5 equals 3 plus 2. They don't usually feel like that's the same as 3 plus 2 equals 5, but it is. The equal sign just means the same as. So they don't have to get used to just first seeing the parts before they see the whole. It's possible to see the whole and that equals the parts. Now remember, K.3c emphasizes explaining. So here we can get a verbal explanation. They can use concrete and pictorial models, such as the story maps, and they can write number sentences that portray the action that's going on in the problem. Here are some activities that are available in Eduphoria that you can use with the kids for addition and subtraction. Then with Unit 7, we'll only have 4 days of the 20 to start talking about addition and subtraction through 10, fully meeting the expectation of the text. And notice these are the same 3 texts that we had before. So again, we are using K.3c to explain the strategies that are being used. So here's an example of K.3a of a sample discussion that the kids can be having with the teacher. And with this discussion, they can use the 10 frames or they can use a number line. For vocabulary, you have a few words to review, but quite a few words for new words for our kindergartners. So you might want to use these words on your word wall. In Eduphoria, there are some resources for using UPS Check. I know with kindergarten we start slow. It's very important that the kids learn the critical thinking that you're doing when you're doing UPS Check. So even if it's looking at these for your own resources so that you can see the type of questions that you're modeling for the kids. So let's look at UPS Check. If you go into Yearly Content Documents and then District Instructional Resources in Eduphoria, and then under District Instructional Resources, you'll click UPSC, you'll see some activities that are available for you. If you look here at the bottom, you can see that there's some scripts available for you. There's some resources for the kids and the posters that you currently already should have. Also on this side, notice that there's 2 videos that you can watch where UPS Check is being modeled. And notice I have it broken down into segments that you can find the exact part that you want to look at. So the scripts are available, for example, 27 minus 8, how to use just that expression. B. Luchin is modeling those sessions that I talked to you about earlier. She's modeling a 3rd grade problem at Major Cheney using a graphic, and at O.H. Stowe, she modeled how to solve a multiplication problem with 4th grade. So check out these videos. We're so excited to have them. Here is what our 6 weeks is going to be looking like for 6 weeks. Notice there's 28 days of school. 2 Mondays will be devoted to a student holiday, and also the kids will be taking the middle of the year universal screener. So you might want to use this as a piece of paper to help you just sketch out your plans for the 6 weeks. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and please contact me if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.